Hello and welcome to this YouTube channel. Today I would like to talk about a manufacturing technique in bolt building that is called stitch and glue, where you basically use plywood as a material for the bolt hull, reinforce it with epoxy, uh, and stitch it together with some steel wire or zip ties or whatever you have available to you. Now, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate how you can use Fusion 360 to design such a hull. Because during the design process of this catamaran hull, I did struggle a lot finding the information on how to create the hull like this in Fusion 360 or many other CAD programs. There are obviously some ship programs, programs designed to build ships like a Delft ship, etc. But the interconnection between a CAD modeling program and a ship designing program like Delft ship was rather limited, so I wanted to make this complete project inside Fusion 360 or Inventor or whatever you're used to, and I will try to explain to you how I got here, what methods did I use, and we're gonna do a complete tutorial on how to design a stitch and glue plywood hull in Fusion 360. Alright, a model such as this is obviously made out of some plywood sheeting and some reinforcement bulkheads. This model is 5.5 meters. I think that's around 18 feet maybe, somewhere in between. And the sheet thickness is 4 millimeters. Well, this was a design I made for a catamaran hull, and when you make something like this, you probably don't just want to go ahead and build a full-scale version in real world. So make something that is scalable. For instance, this 5.5 meter scaled down to 1/5 of a length would give me a sheet thickness of around 1 millimeter instead of 4, so I can make a scale model out of balsa wood and eventually do some tank tests. Or if you don't have access to a tank simulation, water tank, you can go to a lake, check the stability of the boat. Anyways, let's have a look how to design something like this. Alright, so I have decided that we're going to be building a solo skiff to simplify this demonstration of how to build stitch and glue hull instead of me just remaking a catamaran hull like this. I will obviously include the hull files, the Fusion 360 files, and a link in the video description. If you want to copy them or study the plans, you are more than welcome. Alright, so what I have done is I went on the internet and found some drawings of the solo skiff, which we'll be using for the purpose of this demonstration. Before we continue, please be advised that the design we are building now has not done any hydrostatic or hydrodynamic simulation or calculation, so please don't use the designs to create a real boat before you actually do some testing. Alright, to start with, we will start by inserting the canvas, and the canvas will obviously be the picture that we have found of the skiff, which was here. In the Fusion 360, we will start by inserting the canvas from the top, and we will scale it down to, let's say, 5 meters. The way you scale a canvas is basically you right click on the canvas and press calibrate. Then set 2 points and define a distance. In this case it would be 5,000 millimeters. Now let's see our origin point is here, and what I usually do when I design something like this, I move the either front of or the aft of the boat, stern of the boat, to the 0 position, which makes it a lot easier when you will start drawing various layers upon layers upon layers. You can always fall back to a 0 point that you have defined. All right. All right. So now we have this top layer sketched here, and what we are going to do is we're going to offset our sketch plane, so approximately 200 millimeters, and we will do that because if you look at the pictures like this one, the layer in the bottom would be smaller than the layer on the top. So thus we will offset the layer and we will make a sketch on it. Let's go up. The aft portion of the ship is approximately the same, but what changes is the position where the front would end. So, alright. Now, please remember to uncheck the 3D sketch option, otherwise it will be a mess. Now, when creating something like this, obviously gonna need to do some 3D sketching, and that's because to create a surface you need to have enclosed faces, which means we're gonna need a line from here to here. But since we have this fixed sketch, this is not an option. So the way we're gonna do this is we're just gonna make a random straight line, accepted, enable 3D sketch. Select this point and we're gonna move this point to there. All right. And the same we will do here. Finish sketch. Now, what this will allow us is to select the edges, delete, like this. See, now we have this sort of perfect contour of perfect surface of the plywood. It would have the shape of that would be cut and bend. Later on I will show you some software that you use to unbend plywood like this, so you can basically cut it out of a flat plywood sheet. Alright, let's continue designing our solo skip. We go back and create another hole here, and well, a skiff like that would most likely be pretty flat, so create another sketch on the side, and let's say it will be something like extremely small bottom curvature. Okay. Finish the sketch, go back aft, create a sketch. Remember, you must enclose all the faces. So you're gonna make a face here, we're gonna make a face between this one, a surface, the surface in between this part also. This is very important, otherwise you will not be able to patch the surface. Alright, let's finish the sketch and see if we can create some surfaces. And while doing all this, I just noticed that there's something you cannot do. And for instance, if you make a sketch like this, you need to make this line separate, otherwise when you try to pick it to create a patch surface, it will not work. So if we choose to edit this line and delete this face, finish sketch, create a new sketch, doesn't matter where you create it, but here we go. Alright, finish sketch. See, now this will work completely differently. The same applies for this one, for this sketch. What I'm gonna basically do is edit it, remove these parts, finish the sketch, create a new sketch. And the layer height is the same, very nice. From here to here, and from here to here. Perfect. Let's finish the sketch. Alright, so let's try to patch the surfaces and see what we can and what we cannot do and what needs to be fixed. So we can create this one, very nice. Let's see if we can create this one, very nice. And let's see if we can create the last one, the top layer. Patch and this one. All right. So at this point we have 3 surfaces here, and we can also make the aft one if we wanted to, but it's basically the same principle, so let's wait with that. All right. Let's go to the solids, mirror all of this, and the mirror plane would be this one. All right. So what you have now is roughly a shape of a solar skiff. If we go back and turn up the canvas, the beauty of working with Fusion is that you can edit all of this on the go. So let's say we are not satisfied with the position of the front, we can basically move it by editing the sketch. In this case we would hide the bodies, edit the sketch, say we wanted the wrong sketch that I'm editing. Let's edit this one, edit sketch. Alright, yes, this one, finish sketch. See, now when I turn the bodies back on, the surfaces would have moved along. Alright, so what you now have is a bunch of surfaces without any thickness. This is basically infinitely flat piece of paper that you are watching here. Obviously, to keep doing this, we could continue making a outer sketch here and another inner sketch like 100 millimeters down to create this standing surface that you see right here. But I think you get the idea of how this is done, and plus I will not do it for the demonstration video. Let's remove the canvas again. Now, what I will show you, however, is if you have something like this part here, how you will do it. And before we go there, let's apply some thickness to all of these plates. So let's say we take these two, and you go back on the surface and you go thicken, and it says down. In our case, we will go up, so that would be minus, let's say, minus 6 millimeters. And it made it a single plane. You could basically have chosen each halves and made it. So here we would say nope, thicken this one, and that would be minus 6 also. Let's take this one, thicken, and that would be positive 6. All right. Now to the bottom, thicken, minus 6, and this one will also be thicken, minus 6. Perfect. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and create another sketch for the aft portion of the ship. And what we are going to do here is basically we are going to project some lines. So in this case, we're going to project this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right. Let's hide the body, and we have this sketch line here. And the same applies. Holy crap. And basically the same applies. We can. Nope, that did not work out. Why did that not work? Not visible. Oh, all right. We got the bodies were not visible. Yes, we now have this body here, and we're gonna do the same thing where we will thicken it. This one, 6 millimeters. Fine. Let's go to the on this section and create a sketch. Let's bring back the canvas, and right here you will probably have the motor mount. So let's say this section you see right here is going to be cut out. Where's the middle? It's here. All right. Mirror everything. The mirror line would be this one. Now, sketch, and let's just extrude everything to remove this nonsense. Here we go. Now you're left with a huge hole that is not of much use to you, but what you basically can do is click on any flat surface here, create a sketch, and you could again, as we did on the aft portion of the ship, you can project all these surfaces and make a flat piece of plate that you could install in this position. All right, let's talk about one of the most important things when you're building a hull structure like this, and that would be the structural bulkheads. The reason you need the bulkhead is to prevent the ship from flexing, because obviously the plywood is very thin and it has no structural rigidity. So there are a few ways you can do something like this. One way would be like using this web function. It's very good when you're 3D printing, it's not very good when you're making a plywood hull. So let's look into the other options that we have for making this. The way I did it in the last project at least, was to make a hull, go ahead and offset it. So let's say the first bulkhead we want would be right around here where the engine mount will be. Now, what we would do from here would be something like section analysis here. Let's see what we have. Very nice. Remember, when you have section analysis, you can basically turn it on and off. basically just skips through the hull, so you can see within at certain points of your interest. Now let's go ahead and create a sketch here, and just like before, what we're gonna do is we're gonna project some positions. This one, right? Am I doing it wrong? And oh yeah, boy was I wrong. Alright, let me show you how you do this. Sketch 12, nothing is here. Perfect. So you're gonna go to Create tab, Project, Include, and you're gonna choose Intersect, and you're gonna choose Bodies right here. And you're gonna take this one, basically all the inner bodies, and this one. Yes, alright, here we go. So let's say this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Let's go ahead and break the link. Nice. What we want to do now is finish the sketch and patch this if we can. There's probably a smarter way of doing that, but I am not a Fusion 360 professional, so this is basically how I figured out how to do it. Choose. And it does not work. And why does it not work? And that is probably because the ends are not connecting. So let's choose this one. Origin point, target point will be here. Perfect. Now, when you project, obviously, as we just seen, the edges are not of the drawing are not always connected. So you need to remember to do that as well. See, offset. Take the point you moved, origin point, and the target point would be the last position. Same applies for this one. Move, origin point, target point, perfect. If you find an easier way, well, some of you probably do, please let me know. Here we go. So we have this, and instead of patching it, I already have a flat surface, so luckily for us, we can just extrude it. Let's say we want the bulk guts to also be 6 millimeters, and bring back the bodies. And let's remove the analysis section. Now you're stuck with the bulkhead in there. And if we go back to stitch and glue part, you will see that each and every layer here are separated. So yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? Alright, so for manufacturing purposes, to make this useful, what you really want to do is flatten these sides, the ones that are curved, so you have an idea what shape you need to cut to achieve this shape. And the way you do this goes as following. You hide all the bodies that we made, and when I say bodies, it's obviously because they have thickness here. And you find a side plane like this. This is a surface. You right click on the surface, save as STL, and you export it. You save it to a specific folder. Now, once you've done that, you download a software called Meshmixer. It's also from Autodesk. It's very powerful software. Can be used for a lot of cool stuff, but in our case, we will show you how to flatten the curved objects that we use in this type of design. So let's go ahead and import it. There we go. Now This is our side. As you can see, it is curved, not very useful to us. We press edit and unwrap. So while this is doing its job, it's going to take a while. Let's go ahead and talk about this hull. As you can see, that we have not included this patch here where you basically stand in and have these lofted sides above, but the process is pretty much very similar to what we have done with these sides, only inside the hull. And if we go back and look from this at this hull from the side, you will notice that these lines are more or less flat. But if we take a look at the catamaran hull, I have made the first contour from the top, which would be this and this outline. And then afterwards I moved into the 3D shape and moved the drawings down. Again, make them separate. So you have like this three-dimensional drawing on which you can then create a patch surface. So back to our skiff example. Let's go take a look at Meshmixer, and as you can see, it has portrayed the curved surface onto the flat. Especially if you look from the side, it's completely flat, it has no width anymore. So let's go ahead and accept that, and it says what objects do we have, and the skipped side, the original one we just going to delete, is of no use for us anymore. Alright, let's go ahead and take this one and export it as an objective file. I've already done that, so ignore this for a moment. Then you're gonna go back to the Fusion 360 and then you're gonna upload the file. Alright, which I have also done already, which is right here. So let's go ahead and open it. Now what you have here is an objective file that you basically cannot use for anything at all. So what you really want to do it is open it, right click and mesh to BREP. Let's go ahead and do that, make a new body. Now there's one thing that you need to be very careful about when loading this, is to check the distance. As you see, this distance is that 50 meters. 5 to the power of 4. Yes, you see this distance now is 2005.3 millimeters, and on our boat that we designed, that distance is 10-fold less. So what you want to do here is grab this body, scale 0.1. Here we go. This is the original scale. Now it's right. And as you remember, we said that this was like 6 millimeters. So let's go ahead and grab a surface, thicken, take this one, 6 millimeters. All right. Here we go. And now we have this exact surface portrayed flat, which you can send to a drawing, or that's right. You can basically maybe send it to some milling production, unless you're gonna do it yourself, of course. So let's see, front, top, scale 1/4, 1 shape. There you go. If you want to make a DVG file, you can always create a sketch on here, and of course project this whole area, remove this, and of course break the link. There we go. Now we have a projected sketch of this side. I hope this was helpful, and if I wasn't clear about anything, please let me know in the comments. This is my first video. Cheers.